Yo, so I'm not a Frontier player, but some of the monsters that exist in that game are really cool. Espinas became a favorite of mine when it was introduced in Rise, and it made me excited to see what other Frontier monsters that could be introduced. If you've seen my other video, you very much know that Shantian is a monster I very much want to see in mainline game, because many things about that monster are absolute peak. Now, I know a lot of people have some beef with Frontier designs. Like, ooh, they don't fit too well into the mainline, but what if they got changed? I suppose with this discussion, we'll do it as if the monster is okay with receiving some changes, if it's like too far or something. But personally, I like him a lot anyway, so I wouldn't mind regardless. Having not played Frontier, I'm mostly giving my opinions based on the aesthetic, the lore, and the general vibe that the monster brings. I won't mention Shantian, as I've already given my opinion on that. So I guess other than that, let's get to it. Did I pronounce this Toridcless? Regardless. This guy looks really cool for a bird wyvern. From its general aesthetic and vibes, it looks like it would be a strong monster, and it's kind of rare we get strong bird wyverns, so I wouldn't mind against seeing this monster in Wilds. The wiki says it gathers lots of solar energy to produce lightning based attacks, which is a pretty cool idea, and it could fit quite well onto the Windward Plains already during the stormy times. So I don't see, like, maybe with some changes they could put it into Wilds and we'd have another really strong bird wyvern, which I would love. Abiorugu? Yeah. This design feels pretty simple to me, but I enjoy the idea that it somewhat just seems like a big dinosaur. I suppose there could be some complaints that it's like a budget Glavenus with its tail being like a knife. However, the vibe I'm getting from the wiki is that this one is a lot more aggressive, seeing that it's being compared to Devilja. I suppose you could also redesign it to differ from Glavenus, but I'm just kind of satisfied with how simple it looks despite sharing similar abilities to Glavenus. So yeah, I don't think I'd mind seeing this guy. Maybe they could buff him up a bit. Ray and Lolo Gougarf. Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. So, a gimmick I really want in Monster Hunter is where two monsters would appear always with each other during a hunt, and they would combo attacks and work together to beat you. These two seem perfect for that. I actually love their designs quite a lot, and it could be cool to see how they would implement these into mainline games. From what I'm reading, it says that the monsters already react to the death of its partner, so I'd love to see how they can maybe expand on it in mainline. Yeah, overall, I just think these monsters are a really cool concept, and they could definitely go far in mainline games. Kamu and Nono Orugarons. That's kind of like Orugaron. So with these wolf creatures, or wolf-like I guess, it kind of remind me of tigers as well, but I just kind of think they look neat. They work similar to the Rathlos and Raytheon, and I guess they also look similar, or work similar, to the Gougarfs, but they stay with each other throughout the whole quest, it seems. They could do something similar to, the previous monsters we talked about, where they maybe also react to each other's deaths and attacks. You could also introduce Orugaron into the game, which is basically an explosive variant of it. I would maybe leave that for mastering or something. I don't know, these monsters look cool to me. I think they look cool. They kind of cook with the Fang Beasts in Frontier. Zenaserisu. Okay, man, I'll just straight up say, this monster looks really cool, and it's a water flying wyvern, which, from memory, I don't think we have one in mainline game. Which is crazy to me, like how do we not have a water flying wyvern? The wiki says it flails its whips and releases large quantities of water, whilst also doing the usual water attacks like beams and orbs of water. And apparently it's very extremely aggressive, but smart. I don't know, I just think this monster looks really cool. Like, they're good with their flying wyverns. They know how to make flying wyverns. So I would love to fight this in a mainline game. Eruzerion. Okay. I know this is one of the infamous concepts. A lot of people were like, ooh, this wouldn't work in mainline. But I think this concept is really cool. But yeah, like, how the fuck does this work logically? This is defo one of the more fancy designs they have, and I would love to see how they try to adapt it to mainline. Yeah, like, I think this monster is really sick. I guess Eruzerion is somewhat similar, but like, this dude literally wields two elements at the same time, and they cover half his body. So yeah, I would love to fight this, and I would want to see how they adapt it to somehow make it logical in mainline. Laviente. Okay, yeah, so this guy is just huge. If you've seen my other video, you know I think Dalamadur would be really cool to see in Wilds. So I guess you could also bring this guy in as well, because then how their logo seems to be focusing on serpents and snakes, like with Wilds. The idea of it having its own island is pretty neat as well. But you could defo add that into Wilds, along with like some secret parkour maybe across its body. I don't know, I think it would be cool to see giant boss fights like the size of Dalamadur in mainline again. So I do have some honorable mentions I want to talk about, but it will be like kinda brief. Akura Vashimu. So personally, I'm not like the biggest fan of this design, but bias aside, I think a scorpion monster would be really good to see in the game. Do we even have a scorpion monster outside of Frontier? Like, I don't think we do. I think it's a good time to just add more bug and arachnid monsters into the game, so I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it. I'm just not like personally invested into this monster, but I'd be fine with it. Disufiroa. So, from what I'm aware, this is like one of the strongest monsters in the whole series, not just Frontier. So I'm not sure if I'd want it with things like Shantian or Fatalis. I mentioned in another video that Shantian or White Fatalis as a final update boss could go really hard for Master Rank. Now I'd love to see it. However, this monster seems really cool in itself, so I suppose it could also fit. Like, World did have Safi, Eruzerion and Fatalis as the insanely strong big bad in game monsters. So imagine White Fatalis, Shantian and Disufiroa as our endgame. So yeah, as of right now, those are some monsters I'd like to see return from Frontier. As I mentioned, I don't know too much about Frontier, like I haven't even played it, but I would definitely be interested in playing it at some point. But as an Espinas enjoyer, I'm sure these monsters I may enjoy just as much as him if they were ported over from Frontier into Wilds. If you enjoyed this little discussion, let me know what Frontier monsters you want to see in Wilds. Drop a like and sub, I would appreciate it a lot. And yeah, adios.